Hello students, myself Professor Ankur. I welcome everyone for the GATE theory session on analog circuits. Today we are going to study an important topic by the name differential amplifier. And now we are going to cover in this session differential amplifier using BJT. So let's start with our first session on differential amplifiers. So before we actually try to go for circuits of differential amplifier, we need to understand that a differential amplifier is a type of electronic amplifier that amplifies the difference between the two input voltages. So this is the main important property of the differential amplifier, that it's a network with two input points. Normally for an amplifier, it has a single input point. So here the differential amplifier will have two input points. So there are two input paths, one notified as V1 and other notified as V2. So now whatever are the input given, so difference of that signals will be processed by the network. And that is the reason the amplifier name came into picture as differential amplifier. When we talk about the mode of operation of the circuitry can operate in two types of mode. The first mode is called as differential mode, where the two input given to the network are actually different. And the second mode is basically defined as common mode signal. So when we talk about the common mode signal, both the input points are actually given the same input, and we are trying to see what is the response of the system when the two inputs are actually same. Ethically, if you observe, when two inputs are different, there is a difference effect and the difference is getting amplified. So we do deserve a very good output. But whenever we talk about common mode signal and the two inputs are actually same, under this situation, the ideal output should be 0. So now when I talk about the gain of the circuitry, the differential gain of the circuitry will be defined as a ratio of the output by difference of input. So the gain will be defined as V out divided by V1 minus V2. So from this, we land up to an important property which is called as CMRR. So CMRR actually stands for common mode rejection ratio. So how do we get this parameter CMRR, and what is the definition of it? It is basically an ability of an amplifier to reject common mode noise. So if I define CMRR, it is basic ability of an amplifier to reject common mode noise. So how do you interpret CMRR? It is basically a ratio of differential gain versus common mode gain. So now when you talk about the differential gain and the common mode gain, the most important point we need to understand that whenever we talk about differential gain, the input given to the networks, V1 and V2 input points are different. And whenever we talk about the common mode circuitry, in that logic, the input will be same for both the points. So ideal operation, you want 0 output, but practically due to impact of noise, we do get a result for that. So implies we are getting some performance under common mode also. So that's the reason we are trying to get the ratio of performance of the system, or you can say gain under differential mode divided by performance of the system, that is the gain in the common mode. So when you take a ratio of both the parameters, you will get the new parameter defined as CMRR. So this is a simple circuitry using a differential amplifier that is realized using BJT. If you look at the circuitry carefully, there are two transistors Q1 and Q2. Normally when we take Q1 and Q2, they are actually coming from the family of matched transistors. Remember one thing, no two things can be 100% matched, but whatever we can try to match it maximum from our side. So Q1, Q2 are transistors which are actually identical in terms of parameter. So there are two input points, V1 and V2. V1 is an input for the first transistor. V2 is an input for the second transistor. Both the collectors are having a resistor by the name RC, and then the top end of the RC is being connected to the VCC supply. And if you observe the bottom section, the emitter terminals of both the transistors are actually shorted and then connected to a single resistor by the name RE and connected to a negative battery having the definition of minus of VEE. So if you observe the differential amplifier circuitry, it is basically operating on two voltages, a top VCC which is positive and a bottom VEE which is actually negative. It is having two input points, V1 and V2, where you can give your signal, and whenever you see the output is available at the collector of both the transistor. So now if you want to measure the output, it is up to you how you measure the output. So if I want to take the difference of the outputs, you can take the output in terms of plus for the Q1 and minus for the Q2. That is, you are measuring the output of VC1 with respect to VC2, or you can swap the polarity also. In either of the cases, you can use both the nodes of the output points, or you can also use the single node of the output point depending on the requirement. Now, the adjacent circuitry here is basically an illustration regarding the DC section of the circuit. So when we talk about the DC section will not have the AC element. So what we have on the input side is only the internal resistances of the sources defined as RS1 and RS2 and then connected to ground. Normally under ideal situation, the value of RS1 and RS2 will be 0. So automatically both the base terminals will be shorted to ground. And now when you talk about the currents, every transistor will have its own independent current. The collector current will be defined by IC, the base current will be defined by IB, the emitter current will be defined as IE. And if you observe carefully at the lower end where both the emitters are actually shorted, the two emitter currents will actually merge together and will form a current twice of RE that will be flowing through RE. So this is the way you can actually go for the DC equivalent circuitry. Now, if you want to go for the DC analysis, you can easily apply the KVL to the lower loop and solve and get the value of IB, IE and IC for individual transistor. Advantage that we get here, since both the transistors are actually matched, in that case, whatever current values we get for the first transistor, they will be exactly the same for the second transistor. Now, if I want to go for the AC equivalent circuitry, under AC equivalent, the DC battery points will work like ground points, and that's the reason you will find the RE resistor at the lower end will be connected to the ground. The top end, you will have the resistances RC, and that will be also connected to the ground. And now if you observe the transistor will get replaced by its model. So whenever we talk about representation of the model, we have seen that a transistor can be replaced in terms of the RE model, hybrid model or hybrid pi model. So depending on our requirement or suitability, whatever model you want, you can take the model accordingly. So here the diagram is basically representing the RE model with input current IB1, the collector current IC1, and between the base and the emitter, the resistance is RE and the current flowing through it is IE1. On the similar lines, the other model used for transistor Q2 is having similar representation. It is just that instead of IC1, there the representation is IC2. Here left hand side it is IB1, the right hand side is IB2. The emitter current is IE1 for the left transistor, and for the right transistor it will be IE2. So addition of two currents will give you IE that will be actually equal to IE1 plus IE2. So this is the way you can actually get the AC equivalent circuitry. So when you talk about the DC equivalent and the AC equivalent, the DC equivalent circuitry is basically a circuitry where we are having the DC connection and the AC points will be taken as ground. And whenever we talk about the AC circuitry will have the AC source and the DC points will be considered as ground. If your observation is very, very sharp, there is no concept of coupling capacitors present in the circuitry. So differential amplifiers are basically the concept of direct couple amplifiers. So direct couple amplifiers does not have capacitors anywhere in between. So now if I try to understand, there are actually 4 types of differential amplifier. So how do we get 4 different types of amplifier? If you observe the first figure carefully, you are having 2 input points V1 and V2, and the output VO is measured across the collector. So it is basically potential difference of the collector. So if I just imagine a center line that passes through VCC and VEE, it's a vertical line, you will find that the left hand side figure and the right hand side figure will look like a balanced logic. So that's the reason the first concept of differential amplifier gives a logic of balanced input and balanced output configuration, where there are 2 input points V1 and V2, and you are having 2 output points VO1 and VO2, and you take VO as the difference of both, as you can see in the left first figure. Now if I change this logic to the second logic, where I'm taking output from only one terminal, but I'm having both the input terminals present. So this will be giving me a second logic of balanced input but unbalanced output configuration. The concept of balanced can be also realized in terms of the terminology single and dual. So the first left circuitry can be also seen as dual input, dual output logic. The second circuitry can be seen as dual input, single output logic. So the first circuitry was balanced input, balanced output, also known as dual input, dual output. The second circuitry can be seen as balanced input, unbalanced output, can be also seen as dual input, single output. The third circuitry is having only one input point, but it is having both the output points VO1 and VO2, and you are taking VO as a difference of the VO1 minus VO2 or VO2 minus VO1. So in this logic, in the third circuitry, we can define it as single input, dual output, or it can be defined as unbalanced input but balanced output configuration. And when we go for the last circuitry, the right hand side circuitry, the rightmost circuitry, where we are having only one input point and one output point, it can be defined as single input, single output, or unbalanced input, unbalanced output configuration. So overall, if you observe, the definition of four types of differential amplifier comes with respect to the circuit diagram analogically. You can easily have a look at the circuitry and just comment on the circuitry in which category it is going to fall. So remember, there are in all four types of differential amplifier in terms of the logic of balanced and unbalanced. Let's check that. Balanced input, balanced output, balanced input, unbalanced output, unbalanced input, balanced output, and unbalanced input, unbalanced output. And when I give the name in terms of single and dual, it will be dual input, dual output, dual input, single output, single input, dual output, and single input, single output. So this is how you define the four types of differential amplifier. Obviously, when we go for the differential amplifier, we can go for analysis in the AC as well as the DC. So let's take a small question. The question is, the following specifications are given for dual input balanced output differential amplifier. So it is the first differential amplifier that we have seen, which is having two input points and two output points. The value of RC is 2.2 kilo ohm. The value of RB is 4.7 kilo ohm. Rin1 and Rin2 is equal to 50 ohms. VCC is equal to 10 volt. VEE equal to minus 10 volt. Beta DC is 100 and VBE is 0.715. There is a correction in the question. The RC value is 2.2 kilo ohm and the RE value is 4.7 kilo ohm. So the definition, which is actually misprinted as RP, is actually RE. So now when I go for the KVL equation of the input, I can easily get the value of the collector current, which is going to be equal to the emitter current. It can be notified as VEE minus VBE divided by twice of RE plus Rin by beta DC. The value of RE is 4.7 kilo ohm. The value of Rin is 50 ohm. The value of beta is 100. VEE is your 10 volt supply. VBE is 0.715. Solving this, you will get the value of ICQ or IEQ as 0.9 milliampere. And when I go for KVL to the output loop, you can easily get the value of VCEQ. So the value of VCEQ will come approximately 8.54 volts. So this is the way you can actually go for the calculation of VCEQ.